Welcome back to week 5 of the Beat Aidan Challenge, where I send out a ping to the 2,300 plus people in the Switch Sports Golf community Discord. We see who joins, we see who wants to beat me, and then we just play a random 9 and see who wins. We're filling up here. Here's Hawk already joining. The rules of this are simple. We play a random 9 holes with whoever joins. We have a 7-person lobby here, and you have to try to beat me. That's the way this goes. We've got Hawk, Multus, Leo, Andre, Mr. Quack, and DeChambeau here. A 7-person lobby, a very high-level lobby, as is always the case in this series. We'll start on hole 8, and it looks like a fairly difficult seed. We're going to end with a pretty chaotic stretch of 17, I think, and then 9 and 20. So this one's going to be a difficult one. Let's see if we can pull off a good round here. We'll start on hole 8 with a pin that's not too bad. I think we'll want to aim this roughly there. We'll give it a shot. About there should be good for the power. Now hopefully we can send this back there nicely and at least put it in the area of the cup with the spoon. That's going to be, it looks like an okay leave, maybe a touch short. Okay, we'll be putting up the hill, slightly moving to the right. Andre has hit the hole-in-one. Wow, that is a very difficult ace on this pin. And he made it. What an incredible shot on the very first hole here. We also have a rematch with Leo, the first time I've played against him since he beat me in the World Open. That's a absolutely fantastic matchup on my channel if you haven't seen that yet. Great play from Leo in that one. He'll sink the birdie on that. It looks like we saw a par from DeChambeau there. This is a tough pin, a lot of tough putts around here. So we'll see an ace from Andre. So this is now the 5th week in a row where somebody has beaten me on the very first hole. So we're going to be battling back once again. Andre with a great ace there. We'll move on to hole 10. Looks like we'll have some crosswind to deal with. The first stretch of this round looks pretty straightforward. We got 14, 13, and I believe hole 3 was also on there. This is an interesting look at hole 10. Let's aim this just a touch out to the left. We want to use the spin, I think, of this green here. Or the slope of this green, I should say, to spin it. However, there are some options. You know, with the wind facing this way, the green kind of juts out diagonally, and you don't have a lot of green to work with on the roll-up. So we may want to spin, but the problem is there's just not a lot of slope behind that one. Let's give it a shot, actually. Let's try to spin it. Hopefully it works okay. We'll want to give it about pin-high-ish power. DeChambeau has made it. What a shot from DeChambeau for the eagle to make up for that first hole. That's a great start for DeChambeau, or a great comeback for DeChambeau, I should say. My shot's on its way. It's not looking great. Yeah, that's just going to kind of glide back. It'll be a near miss. That's a tough one to make. Maybe the roll-up was the right option. It's just such a difficult landing spot to try to hit. And at least you can get the distance right when you're going for the spin, and it's pretty straightforward. We'll tap in the birdie. So it'll be an eagle from DeChambeau, which will allow him to rejoin the pack at 2 under through 2. It's me, Hawk, Mr. Quack, DeChambeau, and Leo chasing Andre. And now we'll move on to hole 14. Maybe the last straightforward chance at least an eagle, perhaps an Albatross with 0 wind. It's not the easiest one, but it's doable. Let's see if we can pull something off here. Let's see if we can just hit a good shot, or a good first shot. Through those trees, that's goal number 1. With 0 wind, it's pretty straightforward. We should be able to just send it nicely through there in a very predictable way. And everybody's going to collect right here, and everybody's going to have a shot to try to make this Albatross. You really just have to aim right at it and give it about that much power. That's what it's going to come down to. Let's see if we can pull it off.
Nice shot.
I think that's a fairly decent shot. We'll see where it lands. That looks pretty good. It'll glide up and I'll sink it. All right, a nice Albatross on hole 14. You know, it's not the easiest one. You have to get the power perfect, but it glides up there real nicely when you do. Just kicks a little bit left, glides back to the right, and sinks. So a nice double eagle is going to tie me with Andre for the lead. And I'm still looking for my first win in week 5 of this Beat Aidan Challenge, but we'll have 6 more holes to see how this week is decided. Hole 13 is going to have that tougher little front left pin and only 4 miles an hour of wind, so an interesting look here. Maybe not the best wind direction to try to go for the ace. It cuts down on the slope a little bit, but we'll give it our best shot. We'll aim it just a touch more than a square and a half per level of wind. This is level 2 wind, so we'll aim it to there. Oh, DeChambeau has made it. Wow, DeChambeau, with the holeouts in the early going here, is on fire. Let's see how mine ends up looking. That's going to take a decent landing. I don't think that's the right side of the pin, though. And it's not. It kind of just rolls straight back to where it landed. That's a very, very tough angle to try to make that ace. Like I said, you have to rely on just a tiny bit of side slope. And the angle that the ball comes in kind of cuts out that side slope a little bit. I'll tap in a birdie. Very straightforward one, a close call, but just not a make. So Jay, who is DeChambeau, has had 2 holeouts, but 2 really tough angles at putts. So he'll still be just 1 shot back, but some holeouts will keep him there. A very nice ace on that pin. We'll move on to hole 7, and it looks fairly straightforward. This is a nice look at hole 7, 13 miles an hour, just kind of lightly in the face. Let's give this about there, and we'll call it that much power on this first shot. And we should be able to just send this 3-iron up there nicely on the second. We shouldn't have to deal with a lot of crosswind, if any. I think this is a pretty good spot to be. Yeah, so we can aim pretty much right at this one. 3-iron's going to be the play. We'll want to club up to the spoon and zoom in, which will allow us to aim this just a little bit to the left. Just a tiny bit is all we need. And then we want to land this just left of the pin with plenty of spin on this 3-iron. Zip it back and see if we can make it. Did Hawk just make it? Hawk has just made it. Wow, what a shot there. Let's see if I can match that. This one is doable. Leo has made it as well, so 2 chip-ins so far. Mine is on its way, looking okay. It'll sneak around, roll back, and I'll make it as well. I'll rattle it home. It hits the pin pretty hard, but it stays in the cup, and that's a nice chip-in eagle on hole 7. Let's take a look at how that actually ended up making it. So it hits the fringe, which is nice, and then just smacks the pin, rattles around, and falls. Oh, Andre, after that really nice start, it looks like ended up in the water there. So I'll be in the solo lead. Hawk and Leo are 1 shot behind me. I'm at 8 under through 5. We'll see if we can hold them off, or is this going to be a repeat of the World Open where Leo comes firing after I take a lead? This is a relatively difficult look at hole 3. It's got that back middle pin that's a pretty tough one to judge. But this wind isn't too bad. It actually should kind of help our 3rd shot when we actually get it up there. So we can't reach this in 2 with this wind. It's just not quite strong enough. We'll have to send it up there short of the green and try to chip it in. And that'll be a pretty good spot to leave it for the 2nd shot. So we'll aim this, pretty much wherever it goes is actually kind of fine. I may want to leave this a touch short, but I don't think it makes a ton of difference where we actually end up. I'm going to take a little bit off of it, just in hopes that we aren't hitting this, like, too close. We'll end up in the bunker a little bit further back. This is kind of just fine, 36 yards. Now, we do have a couple of possible options here. Do we want to rattle this in with the wedge? But the problem is, I want to put some spin on it. And, you know, the rattle in is a little bit risky, because you can end up zipping it back quite a bit. So I think I'm going to go for the glide spin with this 9-iron, and be really careful not to curve it at all like that. That would be no good. Let's see if we can just hit this with about that much power, move it a bit to the left, and just glide it up there that way. It's going to be a tougher one. Not the easiest eagle from back here, but we'll give it a look. Okay, I think that's a decent look at it. Let's see if that rolls out. Oh, it's just going to be on the right side. So you really just have to... Oh, there's a really good look at it. Who just made that? Was that someone right behind me? It was Hawk with an eagle, I believe, there. Will tie me for the lead. A great shot on a really, really difficult pin. Especially one, and that's especially one that's really difficult to spin it back from behind the cup. There is very little slope back there for that to move back right enough. But he makes it for the eagle in a very, very difficult fashion. It's 9 under through 6 in a tie for the lead between me and Hawk. And now we'll hit that stretch that I foreshadowed earlier. 17, 9, and 20 to finish this round. Because of the chaotic aspect of this seed, this is still anybody's game. You know, pars are possible. Eagles and stuff are still possible. It really depends on the wind situation you see. This one isn't too bad here. on this hole 17. We can just send this up there. It's going to move a bit to the right, but I think we can give this a decent look. Let's take just a tiny bit of power off the spoon. That should hopefully just clip the rough and launch up there nicely. Oh, it just kind of bounces to a stop. It's kind of okay. It would have been a little bit nicer if that had launched. Oh, somebody smacks the pin. That was Andre smacking the pin for the ace. It bounces nicely short, but wow, that was a close call. All right, here is a tough little putt to probably hold the lead. I see Hawk with a nice angle down to the left there. This is feeling like a must-make if we're going to hold the lead on this hole. Let's see, about 2 dots of power should be good to send it up there. Oh, that feels like it's shorted. Let's see if it gets there. It does not. Oh, I short it, and Hawk makes it, and he'll jump into the lead. So a great hole 3 eagle followed by a nice leave on hole 17 is going to give Hawk the lead. A nice birdie on a tougher one there. So Hawk is going to be at 10 under through 7 on a seed that's not very easy. That's always the case when hole 17 is on it. But 10 under through 7 is the lead. I am back with Leo. 1 shot back, 2 holes to play. Let's see what hole 9 has in store. It is nothing. No wind, and that kind of middle pin, that middle back pin. Let's see if we can hit a good first shot here just to the middle of that fairway. This should just be a standard 1-2 approach of just put it in the middle of the fairway, hit that slightly more than 2 dot driver underneath those trees down to the end of it, and then just try our best to put this one close and maybe sink it. It's a difficult sink on the 3rd shot here, but there's a chance. It's 0 wind. It's not a bad look at it at all. Let's see if we can pull it off. Okay, that's going to end up in about the right spot. There's no real precise spot to leave this, I don't think, but we'll just leave it. There is good. We'll want to aim this, I think, 1 square to the right. That should be good. I'm going to club up to the 5 in hopes that we can roll this up there a little bit more, or a little bit extra. We'll give it a good zoom. I think that's a good spot to be. Let's hit it with, call it that much power. About 2.5, maybe slightly more, towards the slightly higher end of that. Should be good to give this a shot. Let's see, that's the shot I wanted. It's going to take a kick up there and just miss on the left side. Oh, that was a close call, but it's not a make. It'll be a tap-in birdie. Let's see if anybody can sink this one. Andre has hit the flag again. That's 2 in a row on some tougher situations for Andre, and he just clips the flag.
Nice birdie.
Hawk has ended up just a little bit above the pin here. You know, that's not a bad angle, but it's a scary little downhill putt. He'll send it on its way and sink it, no problem. A nice birdie there. All right, I've got 1 hole left to try to catch Hawk and maybe try to force a playoff for my first win in this series. But Hawk is playing real well. 3 better than birdie golf. What kind of condition are we going to get on hole 20? It looks a little bit difficult. But you know, you kind of need some difficulty when you're trying to come back from behind here. Let's see if we can hit a good drive just out left of that tree. We'll aim it to there, and that should move hopefully left enough and just kind of hold that fairway. It'll take a first bounce in the rough, but that's kind of fine. It just kind of glides to a stop down there. Not a bad first shot at all. And we should end up pretty much purely upwind here on this second shot. Now, how do we want to handle this? I think we'll want to hit a fuller 3-iron here. This is going to move on the green a decent ways back down to the right. I think the aim to there is pretty decent. Do we want to spin this? I think so. I think we do want to hit the spin. Wait, Hawk just made it. Was that to seal the game for an eagle? It was. What a shot from Hawk on a really difficult situation. I am now locked out of this one. What an incredible eagle on a really difficult situation. I'm going to send mine down there with the best look that I can give it. That'll kind of just glide to a stop near the pin. Man, people really come to play in this series. What a round from Hawk to be at. Was that 13 under on that seed that we saw that included 17 and 20? As well as, I mean, you know, not the easiest but not the hardest hole 9. You know, if you can't reach hole 9 and 2, that's often a birdie. So not many opportunities for shots there. Hawk makes an eagle on a really difficult hole 3 and sinks a tough putt on 17. You know, not the easiest hole 17 either. and then drains an eagle on the very last one. So Hawk with a fantastic, extremely difficult 13 under is going to take a 2-shot victory. I'll be back there with Leo. My rematch with Leo is a tie, 11 under for both of us. Good game to everybody involved in that one. What a round from Hawk. What a couple of really difficult eagles he sunk. I am still searching for my first win in this challenge series, but you know, people are playing really, really well. That's what it comes down to. Hats off to Hawk for that round. Another incredible performance. We've seen a couple of 15 unders and a 13 under on that really tough seed. So some very, very low scoring in this series so far. A lot of really good players. We'll see you next week to see if I can pick up a victory at some point.